Jam podcast. Hi, it's me, it's Brad, and I love Hallmark Butler movies.
Hey, it's me, Panda. This is an oaky smell to it.
Yes.
And I like Butler movies.
Butlers. Oh, it's me, Dan. Oh, boy, do I despise the Butler movies.
Hi.
But do you know what this is, chaps?
What?
The Dick
The Hallmark
Podcast.
Daggum right, y'all.
See, here's the thing: is normally we're live every morning when you listen to this podcast in the morning. But what we did was the Deckies aired Wednesday night. It was live. You guys all left at 11. We changed into these clothes and we stuck around and we said, let's go ahead and knock out Butlers in Love.
We got a
keep
screener.
the balloons up. We'll keep the streamers.
We got
going.
a streamer,
And a screamer.
We got a screener.
If we could get the screamer out of here.
Get me out!
Tanner.
What?
Get out.
What?
Bye,
Get out!
Bye, Tanner.
So it isn't, I want to be very clear. Streamers, Tanner is a screamer.
Yes.
You're looking for a screener, which we've not said yet.
No, we got a screener, and we were able to watch it ahead of time. Man, but the Deckies were so much fun.
Oh,
and,
just a blast.
If you haven't watched it, you can watch it on YouTube. Lots of different winners.
Yeah.
But mainly just Tyler Hines.
The Unexpected Christmas cleaned house.
Really did clean house.
Yeah.
But it was really exciting. And if you want an opportunity to start voting already for next year's Deckies, the only way to do that is by joining Bramble Jam Plus. The double deckers and above get to get on that action.
If your favorite movie wasn't nominated, or if you maybe had a hard time with me giving Roadhouse Romance a hard time.
It's not, there's a time and a place for everything.
That's right. And the time and place was to not nominate Roadhouse Romance for any award. I want to be clear. But you know what? If you think I'm wrong, God bless you. You can nominate whatever movie you want. You can nominate this week's movie if you wanted to.
Butlers in Love.
There are a few categories that this movie would be a nominee, in my opinion, for. This movie could clean house at the Deckies in certain categories.
Butler movie of the year.
Butler movie of the year.
Oh, my gosh, yes.
Yeah.
Which we were going to do anyway.
Yeah.
So it's nice that this movie came out.
Coming hot out of the gates.
Yeah.
For sure.
Which is really great.
It is.
Yeah. And also last week was a really exciting week for the All Access members because they had lunch with the boys, and Neil Bledsoe joined us.
And he had a doozy of a story. I cannot. And you know what? If you're All Access, you get access to all those stories. And if you join now, you would get access to all the previous ones. Is that accurate?
That's accurate.
Yeah. This story is unlike anything I think I've ever heard.
30-minute story about it.
30 minutes about
his most epic date.
And it is, let's just start with it starts on Tinder and it ends up in a chateau in France with ghosts. And I'm not, you would think that I made that up, and I did not. And 30 minutes in between there is an absolute humdinger of a story.
Tanner, you still there? What'd you think about that All Access lunch? You were here. Thank you, Tanner.
Man, I love Tanner, but also I don't know how much Tanner I'm going to be able to do this evening.
I think that's going to be in the Tanner.
Okay, good.
Maybe not. I don't know.
You never know.
This is a Butlers movie.
We did get a screamer. There's no way around it.
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, that's on me.
Yeah, Trace. We asked you to get a screener.
Sometimes I add an A when there's an E and an R and an N.
How did you get screamer from screener?
I'd like to buy a vowel.
It's still an M versus N difference. That's a consonant.
I would like to buy a consonant.
Okay, good.
And a continent. This one, baby. USA, North America.
At least she knows USA isn't a continent.
Might as well be.
Big nationalist, Trace.
Well, I mean, we got it all. We got it all. Can you show me? I want to know why America's a country. Trace out.
Thank you, Tracy.
You guys want to talk about Butlers in Love?
Yeah, I would love to talk about Butlers in Love.
Butlers in Love originally aired on January 29th, 2022. And it went, hey, Trace, how's this? Maybe Rig. Rig, are you in charge?
How you guys doing?
Doing good, buddy.
Are you? Are you doing all right?
Yes, doing great.
I've been watching Tremors over here.
Tremors?
Yeah. There's these monsters under the ground. They pop up. Kevin Bacon.
Got it.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
You should check out Tremors. It's better than what you guys do.
Okay.
Tremors. Big mouth on those suckers.
How are we doing on...
It's scary, but it's funny. It's both.
Yeah.
It's groundbreaking.
Greg.
Funny.
I know you get very into things.
Have you seen Tremors, man?
You won't stop talking about them. Tremors
I have not.
seems to be today's thing.
You feel that ground shaking?
Yeah.
It's Tremors.
Okay,
Listen, Rick, listen.
Rick,
I'm not listening to any more recommendations ever since I got locked in to the Boss Baby Fest.
Boss Baby Fest.
Yeah.
You were there at the Red Roof Inn. You looked uncomfortable.
It was...
were you in room 102A or B? They were conjoining.
Right. I was in B.
See, and that's your problem. That's where we're sitting Methy Ted.
Yeah, and that he was next to me.
We were screaming the movies in A.
Rig.
Yeah. Tremors.
Where are we at on selling 2022?
Well, we got a lot of high bidders, but there's one qualification they're not meeting. They don't like Tremors.
I'm going to give you permission as your boss, Rig, to take that qualification off the table. It's no longer a requirement to like Tremors.
It is a classic.
I understand, but we just need a person to come in
2022
and say 2022 when I say 2022.
Okay.
That's all we need.
But if you don't like Kevin Bacon,
It's not essential. It's not essential, Rick.
It is.
It is not. You can say 2022.
You put me in charge. I have determined.
Yes, you can. No, it's not. You can say to the year 2022 in a funny voice.
I think I got
without
somebody.
liking.
You want to start over? I got somebody right now. So go ahead.
Butlers in Love originally aired on January 29th, 2022.
My pants.
It's like, I still liked it. I still liked it.
And it went a little something like this. The movie starts off full Butler. So guys, it's full Butler.
You never go full Butler.
So there's this little girl. She's watching a video. It's like a Butler funniest home videos or something like that. I don't know, but it's like a show about butlers and things. And she's like, man, it would be awesome to just be a butler. Fast forward 14 years, and that little girl is now a real person, also known as an adult. And her name is Emma, and all she wants to do is be a butler. You guessed it, everybody. But apparently
Shoot for the stars, kid.
Apparently, get this, all everybody. That is here. It is harder to get into butler school than it is to get into law school. And she is just getting rejection letter after rejection letter, and she is just crushed. Her mom is like, hey, sweet love girl that I love, and I just have, been your mom. Let me just shoot you straight here. Maybe
she's gonna shoot her straight.
I'm gonna shoot you straight. Gunshot.
Let me just shoot straight with you.
No, I'm gonna shoot you straight. I think maybe it's time to get over your dream of being a butler. I'm just gonna shoot you straight here. Might be time. And she says, no, I don't think so. And it's good that she did that, because the next day she gets a call and apparently something happened and she now is in.
Oh, her
to
dreams
Butler
are going to
school.
come true. This is great.
Butler school, it's here.
Really good.
She shows up, and apparently there's quite a few people that are also giddy over butlering. She volunteers to show how to hold plates, and then some guy comes in behind her, bumps her down. Plates crash everywhere. Lightning crashes, and a butler falls down. And his name is Henry, the guy who bumped into her. And he's like a real dinker. He's just like, hey, I'm whatever. I'm here, but do I need to be? I don't know. He's like, I know everything there is. I seem like annoyed to be here. And Emma's like, what's your deal? Emma seems to be having a harder time butling, which is how we find out how you say that. Butling, right?
Butling.
Yeah.
Butling. She finds out that butling is tougher than it seems.
You gotta know stuff.
You gotta know stuff. You gotta
things.
put things in with inches to spare. I don't know. It's tough though. And she's just always been like, I know it. I know it, but I don't know it.
That's right.
Yep.
And so Henry knows everything because he's a legacy butler. His family...
I saw Legacy Butler live, and they were phenomenal.
Phenomenal.
They threw out T-shirts to every crowd member during every song.
How many shirts do you end up with?
Thousands.
Everyone ended up with a
No,
shirt.
how many? No. How many shirts did I end up with?
Yes.
12 was a 12-song set. I ended up with 12 shirts. I already told you that.
You did not tell me there was 12 songs.
But I said for one per.
I understand, and I asked you how many.
Street light.
I asked you how many.
If you,
Why are you getting mad at me about
I
this?
thought you asked how many shirts total.
No, I asked you how many shirts did you end up with?
I'm sorry, a dozen.
Great.
Threw one back at him though.
Why?
Just
Why'd
wanted
you
to
do
feel
that?
like they were participating as well.
They might have felt like you were heckling them.
It could have been.
What's your favorite song?
Second to none.
What's the name of the band? Legacy Butler.
Legacy Butler. I
Apparently,
didn't know there'd be a quiz.
apparently his family's been in the Butler game for over 200 years. But
Six generations.
Yeah, but I guess that he still has to go to school for that. You don't just get in. Butling is a serious game. They end up chatting a good bit, especially after she spills wine on him. And he says, I've got a dirty little secret, All-American Rejects. I want to be a chef. I don't want to be a butler. I want to be a chef. And she's like, that doesn't sound like a big deal. Why don't you just do that? And he's like, you don't understand. My family has been in the butler game for 200 years. You don't just throw all that away. You don't just throw all that away for chef stuff. You butling, baby. So he helps her get better at butling, like giving her tips and like, hey, let's go fast now. Let's go real quick. And his parents end up showing up, and his parents, again, they're legacy. They are a big deal. And Emma's excited because she's like, kind of like, man, this is amazing. And they're like, we can hook you up if you really need something like down the road. Like, we know people. Cool. Henry's like, hey, mom and dad, what do you think about like food and like me maybe making it instead of handing it out? And the dad is like, no son of mine will cook instead of butling. And that's tough because the school continues, and Emma finally is figuring things out thanks to Henry over here. And we get to graduation, and everybody passes. This is great news, y'all. Like, Emma can finally do this. And my guy Henry, his parents come to graduation or come to the party or whatever, and they're like, "Hey, Emma, we got you a job. You're going to be a butler, an underbuttling for an underbutt. You're going to be an underbutt for
Classic underbutt.
You're going to be an underbutt for this really prestigious family. Like, you're welcome. We got this for you." So she goes to underbutt. This is what she's been training for. This is what she's been dreaming of her entire life. And she realizes something that first day. She doesn't like butling. She doesn't like it.
Sometimes
She calls
you underbutt.
She calls her mom and she's like, "Mom, do you ever feel like you've made a horrible mistake?"
and her mom is immediately like,
Your mom's
yes.
like, "I've been trying to tell you that being a butler's dumb for years." Anyway, while that's happening, we go over to our guy Henry, and Henry once again tells his dad, "Dad, I'm not gonna butling. I'm gonna chef." And Dad is like, "No, you're no."
On the lock.
No, take my cufflink. And Henry is like, "No, Dad, I can't cook with cufflinks. I'm going to cook with my heart. I'm not going to butling." And Mom's happy now. She's like, "Finally, you did it." And I don't know, does Dad come around or
No.
No. Okay. And so he leaves his house and he's like walking down the side of the road, and she's in a car, and they pass each other on the one road in this town.
Yep.
And she gets out of the car and she's like, "What are you doing?" And they do this whole thing, catching each other up. Fast forward, he is now a chef at
A hotel. It
a
appears.
hotel,
Yes.
and
Looks like an
she
embassy.
Looks like a concierge.
yeah, some
at a
sort
hotel.
of somebody who's there, and they're basically just kissing a lot, and they're very happy that we're where they are in life, and that, my friends, was Butlers in Love.
We did it. Did you just say, and they're very happy that we're where we are in life?
They are. I actually talked to them.
And they're happy about where we are
They're very happy.
in life?
Yeah.
Interesting. I didn't
think
know
I'd
we were in
like-
that close of a...
I thought
Wow.
I thought you said it right.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we'll break this movie down with 4 segments.
I love it.
Starting with a hot take. Here on Deck the Butlers. Oh, guys, we're back. We're talking Butlers in Love, the final movie of New Year, New Movies. Next week, Lovuary begins with a movie that we've already seen. So that's where we are. Guys,
What's the movie?
It's the Veil movie, the Wedding Veil.
Oh, they're doing
just
the-
replaying it.
Yeah, to
It's
make
almost
sure,
like they didn't have something extra
And then
in
there's 2
January.
more.
But they're making sure you know what's going on before you
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
just
yeah,
So
go
that
double
begs the
blind.
question, why did they put that first one in January?
I think to hook them, and then in February you cook them.
You know what's interesting
It's
about
the
hook 'em,
hook 'em,
cook 'em? Yeah,
cook
that's a
'em
good idea.
philosophy.
Yeah. It's just weird. Is there something on a Saturday night they don't want to compete against? That's
On
weird.
the first Saturday in February. When is the Bass?
Oh, it could be the
Bass
Bassmaster. Could
Yeah,
be the-
When is Bassmaster Classic? Someone look that up. Shout out to Bassmaster. Still hoping that we
hoping
get on
that
the boats.
sponsorship.
All right, guys. Let's talk about this movie, Butlers in Love. Panda, the hot takes, I would say so far this year have been probably the worst
C
in your
minus.
career.
Yeah.
That's not just me. That's like people on Reddit are talking about it.
I get
You're
that.
not even making any like children's periodicals.
No,
Top 20s
no, you're
right
not.
now.
You're not. So
I
this,
think maybe I've been coasting on my laurels.
yes. And Laurel's.
Oh, the chat says the Olympics opening ceremonies is next weekend, and that would make sense. That would do it. That is a cross section of viewers. There's no doubt about it.
Look at Hallmark actually like just being smart
Wow.
and not wasting money. All right, let's talk about this. Butlers in Love.
Yeah.
Don't blow this, Panda. This is where you can turn the corner, not
Right now.
not
Yeah.
not
Right
rely
now.
on your laurels.
Yeah.
All right, Laurel.
This movie, I was really excited about going into this. I had, I think I would say, high expectations that this was going to be the movie to bring this what has been a bad crop of January movies kind of
This was
elevate
it. We creamed it.
We did. We
Creamed on the Butlers.
Yes, we did.
To be clear, preview episode, we cream things. I just want to.
You think there are people that are this deep into this episode where we've had a screamer, a legacy butler, and Rig talking about trimmers that don't know what I mean when I say we creamed on the
I
Butlers?
think it's possible.
For all
Really?
intents and purposes, it is like a snow cream situation.
yeah, it's a snow cream situation.
A snow cream situation.
All right. Okay.
And so let me be honest with you. This movie is it's a real stinker, guys. It's a real pooper out there, and it's a real shame that it is. It is boring. It is
It's boring.
unbelievably stupid on a level that is difficult for me to comprehend. We spent 2 people watching an hour and a half watching 2 people do a job they thought they'd like, only to realize they don't like it. And I don't have words to express how disappointing that is. He's fine, she's fine. Plot is largely watching people set tables and pour wine, and it's real boring too. It's a real sleeper on top of being a real stinker. So it's a sleeper stinker.
Sleeper stinker combo.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's it, guys. That's all I got for this one. Over and out.
Over and out.
I was holding on for dear life while watching this movie because I started and I'm like, this is gonna be dope. Like, we're gonna finally like get to really just dive into the world of buttling.
Yep.
And
Wish we hadn't.
the longer we spent in the world of buttling, one, the less I cared about buttling, but two, the less I was like holding on like to this mountain, and it's like, oh, I think I can pull myself up finally, and then someone like throws rocks at me, and I'm like, oh, that's not good. What's that? Some wine? What's that? Fork? Too far apart? Can't do that. So I could never quite pull myself up, and eventually I fell down the mountain of this movie, and I can say not good. And that's a bummer because we have butlers falling in love. And that, if you ask me, I will sincerely say that is a recipe for success. And unfortunately, we couldn't quite get to that. There's so much about this movie that is just absurd.
Yes.
They're not even wait what's. They're just like they're just like plot points that just why did they do the things that they did? Why did they set her up and then just she doesn't want to be a butler? Why did we do all of this? Why did we do all of this to get to the very end and she doesn't want to be a butler anymore, and that's just it?
But what's she doing at the new place? It seems like she's still just
It's butler adjacent.
If she's like a concierge or she runs like the service department of a very nice hotel, she could utilize the same skill set without the idea of having to live on the manor and all of that nonsense, I guess is what they're saying. Regardless, it's a job you could do without spending a good chunk of your time and money at butler school, which is very specifically designed to train butlers.
Yeah.
Which she's wanted to do for the better part of 15 years.
Yeah.
Only to show up completely unprepared and unequipped and realizing she doesn't want to do it.
Well, what's crazy is as she's doing this, we're like, she's not very good at this. I don't think she's going to be a good butler. I don't think she's cut out for this. And she graduates. She finally gets to the point where she is good at it. And then she's like,
I don't like it.
I don't like it.
It's
Kind of boring.
Everyone said this was stupid, and now I realize it's stupid. I kept saying it won't be stupid. It's stupid.
I kept saying, wait until you find out what I find out.
Mama, give me more money to go to butler school. I'm going to go to butler school, and everyone's rejecting me. Maybe that's a sign. No, I'm going to go because it's not going to be stupid.
I go and listen to rich people talk. And you wait until I find out what those rich people say. Turns out they're boring AF too. Turns out rich people also boring.
I thought pouring wine for the House of Lords would give my life meaning. It was stupid.
You know what does, though? The Lord of Lords. Amen.
Amen.
Dan?
The highlight of this movie was watching the light go out of Bran's eyes.
But I lasted longer.
The highlight of this movie was him being like, you guys can kick rock. This is great. And then it was like, you guys can kick rock.
How long did I last? How long did I last?
Like minute 52, you were like.
Yeah, it was.
It was minute 52. It was when I pointed out, I can't believe we're at the halfway mark. And you looked at me and you went, oh no.
That's right. God, I'm just telling you right now, this movie is confounding on a number of levels. I just can't believe it made the air. I think someone had a good idea, or they thought it was a good idea, and they're like, yeah, roll with it. I just can't imagine this being a movie that anyone likes, even the people involved. I just, none of it makes sense. They try to make Butler School like Camp Lejeune, and then they're like, nobody graduates. Well, everybody graduates. And then like there's a love story, but like I've never ever in my life seen a movie where someone dreams of doing something from the time they were a child only to be like, this is dumb. This is stupid. You know what's also dumb and stupid? Butlers in Love. It's a bad movie. And I got to be honest, I can't believe I'm saying it. Worse than The Wedding Veil. Worse than The Wedding Veil. And you know what? For my money, might be worse than Where Your Heart Belongs as well.
No.
Might be worse than that.
What movie is that?
That's the Jen Lilly movie. At least I can get a few just ridiculous chuckles out of that movie. This movie is at the bottom of the heap. It is, it's cold right now in South Carolina, and we can warm ourselves around this dumpster fire. It is just awful. I mean, the flames are blue. It's so hot. That trash heap is serious. No. Bad.
Well, let's talk about all the feels. This part of the show we talk about what this movie gave us feels. Panda?
Yeah. So I think that there is something that there's this degree of elegance there that is, I think gave me some feels. Like I didn't hate, like, I liked Downton Abbey. Like, I thought the show, I haven't seen a lot of episodes of it, but the episodes I've seen are fine. Like, they're good. And there's something, I think, I don't know, beautiful and elegant. I like that world and learning more about that world. And so I got a little taste of that, and that was fun. I got a feel for that. And, yeah, the house is pretty, and, yeah.
Good job, buddy.
Thanks, man. I'm working here.
No, you did a great job.
I got feels hanging out with my boys and brainstorming one baller.
You want to give this away?
I don't think you
No,
we're not going to give it away.
Good,
No. This is ours, and we are holding it close to the vest. But a baller reality show based around Butler School.
And
that's all I'm going to leave it.
And in all honesty, if we end up selling that show and it becomes a thing, then I think still would not have been worth it to have to watch this movie.
Oh, you stop that.
No, that's true. It'd be worth it at that point.
100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, absolutely not. Wow. Like I'd love to tell you that I did have feels, but this movie didn't work on any level for me.
Well, let's take a quick break.
Okay.
And we'll come back with the Wait What's here
it's
on.
It's airtight though. There's no Wait What's. I can tell you that.
Take the Hallmark. Oh, neat. We're back. We're talking Butlers in Love, the final movie of New Year's New Movies. And it's time for the Wait What. It's the part of the show we talk about what in this movie made us go, wait, what? And I'll start with you, Panda.
Yeah, I am at a loss as to how she even gets into Butler School. I'm absolutely, like, she is, apparently it's difficult to get in. I don't know whether that's true or not about more difficult than law school. That could be one of those facts that Hallmark has in their back pocket that's legitimately true.
Well, I mean, to be fair on that stat, I think when
lot
you
less
say,
schools.
Yeah, the reason that it's harder to get into Butler School than it is to get into law school is because the pool of people that want, like, desire to be a butler is so very small.
Yeah.
That, like, of course there's not a lot of schools available for it. So, like, you can go anywhere and get a law degree. So, like, to say that makes it sound like it's something. It's like that, to make you feel better. It's like, you know what? There's way more car crashes than there are plane crashes.
But the statistic is, yes,
okay,
exactly.
Great. That's probably not going to kill me. It just is the dumbest. Like, it's terrible.
Right.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, and so, but she's legitimately has no. What appears to be no skill at this. She's good at the history. Basically, she says, hey, I'm good at the history, the manners, and all that stuff. But the stuff that actually matters as a butler, she possesses no gifting at, which leads me to ask, how did she even get in? If that makes sense. Like, at least with, like,
what's the application
grades,
process?
what's that look like? And maybe that's more of a what the Hallmark, but I'm just,
Well, it was for me what the Hallmark, but my question was, like, who are all these schools that are turning her down? Because she has multiple rejection letters. It's not just to that one school.
Yeah.
So, is it not?
No, didn't she have a lot, like a drawer full of them?
I just assumed it was the same one year after year.
Oh, okay.
How many Butler schools can there be?
Exactly. Harder to get into the law school, though. I'll tell you that.
I just want to get this straight. His family does not want him to go into being a chef, but is okay with him being a butler, and they are adamant about this. Like, it's
a family business,
but it's adjacent with one another. Like, being a chef, being a I can't imagine a world where somebody's that upset about. I mean, I'm baffled by that. Well, I don't. No, you can't cook. No, you should serve people food.
You want to cook the food that's served and not serve the food that's cooked? Who do you think you are? Where do you get off, youngster? Mind your manners.
I just don't understand. I'm blown away by that. He mentions to her that she mentions that her life's passion is setting goals, and I don't know what that means.
That's not a life's passion.
That's not a life's passion.
No,
it's not
no. No. That's like the commercial that's like, if you have an idea for an invention, like call us and we'll help you get it patented and take half of it. And that commercial's always like, I like thinking about inventions, but then what next? You invent it is what you do. No one's goal is liking thinking about inventions. Like, do it. Are you kidding me?
I don't understand. And then my final just is about the school in general. Apparently, this school lets you drink and cook wherever you want, whenever you want. They're always drinking when it's off the clock. Like
perks,
it's 11,
baby.
12 o'clock. I guess it's the perks of Butlers school where you can go and you cook a fancy meal for the girl you fall in love with or guy you fall in love with at the Butler school with very expensive wines.
You can call it practice.
Sure.
It's that easy.
It's very fun. All right, cool.
So this guy's whole thing about wanting to be a chef, like, is because, like, one, he's passionate about cooking, but two, he's like, butlers just have no time.
Yep. That was my big one.
Butlers, like, I want to get married and I want to have kids. Butlers can't do that. Which, by the way, I just want to say you are here. You were born, sir. Right. So clearly there is some time for boots to knock when being a butler. So, but like being a chef is grueling. Being a chef is not easy. You don't have a ton of time to yourself. Do you know, like, there is a very serious problem with a lot of chefs with like trying to figure out that whole balance, and it makes them, they have like serious anxiety and depression. Like, it's a serious thing because there's no time. They don't have any time. Yep. It's not like you're just going like, oh, it's 5 o'clock, gotta go. You are the chef.
Yeah, you're not clocking in and out.
It's not. It's
like you're just not doing it.
It's brutal.
It's brutal. It's brutal out there.
But it's not butling.
It's not butling.
No,
it's not butling. I know that it happens, but like it like legitimately like was hurting my heart hearing that dad say, no, you will not ruin this thing that we got going with the Butlings. Like, it just kept happening. It kept happening. I kept waiting for the dad to come around. And then I don't think the dad ever came around.
No.
The mom comes around, gives him a big hug, but I don't think we ever see the dad come around to that idea. I'm confused about, at the end of the movie, like where she... Was it? It's the same area. Is that why he was walking down the street and she was in that
connections down the road?
That old timey car.
That's right. Yeah,
I was just very confused by that whole thing, and then I just was still a little up in the air about the ending, and where they are actually working and what she's doing. But whatever. Dan?
Yeah, we have to talk about the lead's mom first, who, while her daughter, like for 15 years, aspires to be a butler, she gets cryogenically frozen and gets brought back to life in time to see the acceptance letter or call, because she looks the exact same, down to the wardrobe. Not aged a day, this woman, in 15 years. In a full generation of people being born and raised, this woman hasn't aged a day. It's impressive. They could be sisters. Yep. It's unbelievable. This guy at one point says, Butling has been a part of my family for 200 years. And then later on, he says 6 generations. Do the math on that one, Skippy. It does not check out. Like either one or the other. It's more generations or it's fewer years. You can't have both of those. The weirdest part of this movie to me is they build up this Butler school as being this end-all, be-all. 60% of the people make it, 30, almost 40% don't make it. Yep. And it's high end. And then they get there and the guy starts teaching and she is taking notes. And they all look at her like she's crazy.
Yep.
All right, if Butler School is this great, big, prestigious thing, how in the world is the one that's crazy, the one that's taking notes to make sure she gets it right? Like, wouldn't that be everyone? Wouldn't everybody be in there taking notes? She should be the one thinking she's got it all, not taking notes. But they're like, hey, look at Poindexter over here.
Loser.
Taking notes like a dummy, dumb. Why? Taking notes is a sign that you're trying to, learn the information.
You would say that, nerd.
Yeah, apparently. At one point, she says, "Man, no, not her. I believe another guy there who's in the Butler Academy says, I never knew this job required so much ironing." How? How did you not know that? Like, you're in Butler school. You didn't like get drunk and wandering off the street, did you? Like, you spent time applying for this gig. Did you think it was iron free? Well, what did you think happened?
There's so much ironing I bet you
how did man, I thought I was going to get, really Butler. not iron. That's the maid's job. I'm a butler. What are you talking about? You doofus. It's ridiculous.
I'm still like, how many butler, like, in this sense, are there now?
I don't know, man.
Enough that there's a legitimate academy over in the Netherlands.
Yeah, but like, how many people require that? Like, versus, hey, like, what experience do you have, like, being a maid, or what?
Yeah.
Like, what is the difference between being a maid and being a butler? I also think
butler is a term that people give to others without a degree of any kind. It's not like doctor or lawyer. You can't walk in and be like, I'm a lawyer. If you go over to, like, the embassy suites and you get a job where you're bringing food in those fancy, plates where they pull the cover. You can
call that being a butler.
You could say you're a butler.
I don't know if you can.
I think you can.
I think a butler is
my wife and I went to an all-inclusive resort and we had a personal butler.
No.
Did that guy go to butler school?
I don't know.
That's what they called him.
Well, they can call him that, but he's not a butler.
But my point is that the reason people say, the reason it's actually not prestigious is that you literally need no formal education or paperwork to call yourself a butler.
What I'm getting at is the ones that do, the real butlers. Like, what does that change for you?
You get to call yourself real butler.
Because, like, I think this isn't something I would really love to know.
Yeah.
Is like, how much does going to school to become a real butler actually change?
How does it pay off?
Trajectory.
You got it.
The rhyme and reason of your life, because you know what I mean.
If you could get into like higher end, like with the Downton Abbey, I can't remember the name of the actual castle, but I wonder if you could work in some of the more prestigious, like. But I feel like those are dying breeds of jobs. Like, most of it requires
learn
real
it on the job.
But real fancy rich people that have
butlers,
that have a butler. Like, what's the difference? But like,
let's imagine for a minute that I'm a butler to somebody very famous. I feel like that would be one of those things where they look at me and they're like, this is what I like, this is what I don't like. You know what I'm saying? And I would just have to learn their particular style, and then I would just learn it.
So that's a concierge. It's an assistant. Right. It's not a butler. Like,
in Gilmore Girls, Emily has what?
A maid.
Maids. So,
but those would be considered butlers.
What is the difference between maid and butler?
The only time I can think of in modern in quotes TV actually calling someone a butler regularly that was a cast member was Jeffrey on The Fresh Prince.
Yeah,
that's the only one I can think of.
Right,
is Jeffrey on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Aside from that, I can't think of it. I don't know who. I'm sure that rich people still have them, and I'm also sure that Hallmark, someone in Hallmark thinks this is like. It must have been like a capitalist fantasy world where they made this movie up where there's like the people that serve you, like they just dream of it their whole life, like, and they're just happy at their station. Like, that must have been like but I don't know anyone now or of any TV show where this has been shown as being something you need a degree for and school for. Whereas what you're saying makes more sense. Like, I was born, I grew up, I got this job helping out at the manor or whatever. Then the head butler died and I was like 40 and they were like, all the stuff. You do it now. That makes more sense to me. That makes more sense.
Can I ask you this question? And I'm only thinking about this because of what the two examples we just gave. How in Emily Gilmore's house, their maids, Jeffrey's a butler. Was in the 90s or whatever, or 80s or 70s, was it based off of gender? Were guys butlers and women
it could
maids?
Be, yeah.
I don't know. I'd like to know that.
These are all questions.
I mean, Audio Adrenaline said, I don't know if you got a cook, a butler, or a maid.
That's
So
true.
they understood.
They
that there was a
understood the
distinction.
difference. Mark Stewart did, for sure.
Well, let's get Mark on the line.
Let's get him on the line.
Do you have any more?
No, that was it.
It's time for What the Hallmark. It's part of the show we talk about what we are still wondering. And there's lots, apparently. Like, what's a butler? We watched the whole movie, and we're still foggy. Panda?
It actually has to do with Henry and his relationship to becoming a butler and why he still needs to go to school, which I get is kind of adjacent to the conversation we just had. But I want to point out his family are legacy butlers. They have long
a lot of
term,
clout.
a lot of I don't know, clout in this area, apparently. Years of it. Generations, literally, of it. And why can't they just write him a letter of recommendation and be like, come from a family? Like, is it necessary? And so my question is it necessary in this case, in the circle that they are running in, for him to go to school? Like, that's what it boils down to. Or can he literally just
explain it? Like, he
But
says
it doesn't.
He says a line of like, all my family, like, this is what I have to do. And
this is what you have to do.
And
right.
the mom says something like, oh, how's it going this time? My thing is that 200 years outweighs a certificate.
Yes.
It just does. If for some reason the dean of Harvard University was the dean who was, his family had been the dean since 1822, and I was his son, I could get any job I wanted.
Yes.
Any job I wanted.
Yeah.
Teaching without a PhD. Easy. I'm serious.
Yeah. So, probably somewhere. Yeah.
Yes. For sure. Like, if you had that name, that would matter more.
Yeah.
I don't know, that just is ridiculous.
But what's crazy is he goes on, he does not go to culinary school.
No.
But he still gets a job
Chefs
as a
it on
chef.
up.
You know what I'm saying? And that actually is a job where you would probably need a professional education more than working at I don't know. It's just wild to me. I'm just trying to figure that out. I don't understand.
I want to know, so they mentioned that butlers make a good amount of money. And it seems to be the case because Henry's parents, from what I can gather, are like essentially royalty now.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they are big uppity-ups, and they live on the same street as the uppity-ups that they get the job for.
I had that question too.
200 years of butling, 6 generations, and they're still having to butler.
Once again, this is a world where we get excited about someone who just wants to man their station and let other people get more and more wealth.
If you have generational wealth at this point, 200 years of butling, and you can afford to live on the same street as the people that you're getting new butlers jobs for. That's where they're at.
Yeah, the average salary, according to Jess, who's looking up all kinds of butling facts for us, of a butler is about $59,000 a year. Starting salary $25K a year.
That's atrocious.
Over half have bachelor's degrees. 40+% are women. 54+% are men.
So it's not a thing.
It's not a maid butler system.
But what is the difference between the butler or the maid?
I don't know if you got a yard with a hammock in the shade.
Come and go with me. Did you?
Yeah, Rodney.
Yeah.
The fact that we've gotten to me and no one's mentioned Rodney, consistently all class long, the guy who's had 200 years of familial butler training is not number one in the class. It's your boy Rodney. Do we ever hear from Rodney? Do we ever see why he's better? No. What's that guy doing? Is he slipping a 20 to old Jeeves over there? What's happening? How's Rodney so good at butling? How is he better than the guy that literally knows everything and does it all perfectly? How's Rodney better? Got to know right now. Rodney is doing something. I don't know what he's doing, but he's crushing it.
Lynn says a maid cleans, a butler doesn't. So
Butlers don't clean?
So is a maid better?
Butlers don't wash dishes?
But in this, a butler was learning how to iron.
But that's not clean, right?
I mean,
but does a maid do the laundry and then the butler just makes it more presentable? That's a legitimately great question. I don't know.
These are all good questions here. Butlers are going to butler though, and I've always said that
for years.
If you have a
butler's going to butt,
baby.
All right.
Well, let's go to this one. The Double Decker of the Week. It's where we do a deep dive into the Double Decker of the week. Panda does amazing research, buddy. You just you knock it out of the park every week.
Yeah.
It always seems like you come prepared. And Dan, who do we have today?
Kristen Eveland.
Yeah.
Kristen Eveland.
Kristen Eveland, let me tell you, doing some real cutting edge stuff in the world of fashion, Dan.
Is she?
Really?
Cutting edge. Is she top notch?
Top shelf beyond.
Wow. Wow.
And let me just say,
Just keep going.
yeah, she is. She's doing a phenomenal job. In particular, she focuses on shoes, Dan, and she's making shoes out of fruit. In particular, she has this great shoe that she makes out of an apple.
Fruit by the foot.
It's called Fruit by the Foot.
It's not. She's an apple cobbler.
So it's just apple shoes.
Yeah.
But does she have a peach? Is she a peach cobbler?
She's
too?
also a peach cobbler as well.
So she's a cobbler.
She's a cobbler.
She's a cobbler. Fruit shoes.
Fruit shoes.
Okay.
How do fruit shoes work? Because I imagine, and this,
like-
I listen, I don't have the experience, but as I am imagining, like we got kids, right? Kids drop fruit on the floor all the time, and you
Right.
accidentally step on it. It's not enjoyable, first of all, and two, they don't give you a lot of support. How is she able to cobble fruit in such a way to where it's actually something you enjoy and can walk around?
Yeah, I got a chance to spend the day just watching her cobbler. And,
The whole day.
The whole day.
with
And it was
Kristen
worth it.
Eveland.
There's not a better way to spend a day than watching somebody cobbler. And so what you do, she layers the fruit, right?
Sure.
Give you the nice comfy sole. And then the straps,
How many
she just
layers?
dries out the top of the fruit skin.
But when you
and
say
then
layer the
just-
fruit, is this still juicy?
Yeah, because that is what provides the softness.
But that's what I'm saying.
I've
Like
never rubbed sugar all over my feet. I got to be honest, but at some point, it's just going
Yes,
to
you
be like a
have.
sticky.
Yeah, but
Yes, you have.
But it's high fashion too.
all
Dan.
right, okay, all right. Want to be fair?
You wouldn't understand.
Does
high
she have a
fashion.
name for her establishment, or she just is?
She's just known as the apple cobbler.
Okay,
Or the
but she
peach
uses other fruits.
Yeah, but what she
that's
makes
known
a
for the
name.
apple
She's
cobbler.
known for
I
the
got it.
apple
Got
cobbler.
it.
How
Right.
long do I got two more
Yeah,
questions?
great
really
follow-up
quickly.
question, yeah.
One, how long do a pair last? Because fruit.
Yeah,
And two, how
Yeah.
much does it cost?
well, first of all, high fashion.
I understand it's high fashion.
High fashion. So $5,000, unless you bring your own apples, then she'll cut it down. She'll only do $2,000.
Wow, that's a
Big jump. I know.
Yeah.
so that I can save
big boy.
$3,000 by bringing my
your own
own
apple.
apple.
Yeah.
That seems. Why wouldn't someone do
Why
that?
wouldn't-
I
Well,
could go
she-
to the
but
store,
she
buy
picks-
apples for
Right.
just a few bucks.
She'll use any apple you bring her.
Yeah.
Wow.
But they're not going to be as good. She's got her pulse
Are
on
they
the
gonna
apple
be
community.
$2,000 worth
she's got her pulse
On the apple community.
Anyway, and how long do they last?
Oh, they last at least a solid 2 or 3 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're great.
High fashion.
Fantastic. Guys, we got a lot more fun coming up this week, including a When Calls to Heart, big episode, Signed, Sealed, Delivered, another one, and an interview tomorrow
Yeah.
with, can we say it?
Well, she kind of tweeted
She
it
said
out
it.
already. It's Shane from Signed, Sealed, Delivered.
That's right. Kristen Booth.
Kristen Booth.
That's
exactly
exciting.
right.
I'm going to call her Shane all interview.
Shane, tell me what's going on. Shane Battier.
Shane
is gonna
Battier
be
is
on-
going to join us too.
It's going to be Shane on Shane.
Shane on Shane,
Shane
that's right.
Battier is
That's
going to interview Shane. Shane Battier has never seen an episode.
It's crazy.
It's going to be a really good interview. Really excited about that. Shout out to Shane. Thanks for joining the show. We're back tomorrow. Until then, maybe first to wish you a Merry Christmas.
Deck the Hallmark's a Bramble Jam podcast. It's presented by Philo TV. It's produced by Brandon Gray and recorded live in, Greenville, South Carolina. Set decor is by Plum at Haywood Mall. For more information on Deck the Hallmark, you can go to deckthehallmark.com. For more information on Bramble Jam Podcast Network, you can go to bramblejampodcast.com.